Hey folks, welcome to episode 6 of the F1GridView. This is your host Harsh with your co-host Mihika right there. Hey Mihika.
Hi.
Welcome to the episode 6 that today will be reviewing the race of the Brazilian Grand Prix that was held on the 14th of November 2021. So, initial thoughts.
Were you happy with the timings finally?
I was really happy. Like got to sleep at 12. I will take that as a win. I will take that
Yeah,
as a personal win.
I think 1 o'clock.
Yeah, but like 12:31 is fine. Like we were celebrating
Yeah.
after that, so it's okay. What do you think
Yeah,
of the What did you think of the whole race?
it was really good. I like the whole weekend actually. Like,
No, people would just laugh at us if we said that after last year. Like it was just ham were bought. So like,
it was,
but it
but
was
then,
such a different ham were bought though.
yeah, and seeing Hamilton overtake so much was really nice to see after
Yeah,
a very long time actually.
yeah. One of the best moments for me was after the race when Toto comes on saying, we've won it even after being P20," and Hamilton says, "No, after a 20 grid penalty."
Penalty.
Hamilton says,
Yeah,
"No, 25." That was amazing. Just
yeah.
yeah, very cool. Yes. So if y'all have missed out and y'all haven't seen the race, we finished with Lewis finishing on the top of the podium, Verstappen P2 and Bottas P3 and Perez P4 and Gasly P5 to round up the top five. It was a sprint quali
Gasly
weekend.
was in P5. Charles.
Is it? I thought it was Gasly. Oh no,
No,
he
it's
was there.
Charles.
Gasly was P5 in sprint. Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Uh, so yeah, if y'all did not realize, it was a sprint weekend. So you had your
Third of the whole competition.
correct. So you had your on Friday you had your free practice 1 followed by qualifying. Then you had free practice 2 followed by sprint qualifying, and then the race on Sunday. So yeah, it was just Lewis Hamilton supremacy after all. Hamilton supremacy.
I mean, I'm very
While
confused
you
at this.
continue, sorry, don't get distracted. Just keep continuing. How
I'm
happy are
very
you with the
confused.
Lewis surprise?
I'm confused because I don't want him to like win the championship, but I also want him to win the championship. Like I want Max to win it,
Yeah,
but
so
then again,
basically, like everybody, you wanted to go to Abu Dhabi and you wanted to get decided on the final lap,
yeah,
and Max should win.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get
What
that,
about you?
but this is not very obvious.
Yeah, I got so many people telling me that I hate him, but like after today, I really want him to win the championship. But
The
then
thing
again,
is,
even they were confused.
the thing is, people have not realized how good a driver Lewis Hamilton is because
Yeah,
they just seen him
I,
with the best car. The way he
I,
overtakes, the way he comes back
yeah,
from behind, it is unbelievably good. I don't care how fast a car you have, but just
I
those
had
overtakes
this
were really good.
same conversation like right before the race with someone that we've not seen him that great. Like we don't think he's that great lately because of the good car and stuff like that. And like I had one of my friends, uh, she posted a story for Lewis's goat and all, and then there was someone messaging that he just had the best car and this and that, and then she was like, I don't even
Sure.
know what to tell him.
I mean, Valtteri has the best car.
Yeah.
There is a difference. Sorry, Valtteri, but like, yeah, if you're ever listening to this, I'm really sorry, but Lewis is Lewis after all. And yeah, he himself said that was a champion's drive, and that really was a champion's drive.
It was.
So
It was
kudos to
really
him
good.
on that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll start right from qualifying on the Friday evening that took place Indian time. Uh, it was a pretty decent qualifying. There was a lot of
Yeah.
drama that followed after that, but the qualifying itself was
I
also
was
pretty
actually
good.
kind of surprised. Basically, free practice one, Mercedes was not doing that great.
Yep, they weren't.
Like all Mercedes engines, McLaren, Williams, all of them were not doing
Yeah,
great.
they weren't. They really had some terrible timings there, and it was a
Yeah.
very evidently going to be a Red Bull evening.
Yeah, I was actually expecting that to happen.
I'm sure even Red Bull and Mercedes were very shocked with their performance in FP1. I am sure they knew how powerful the cars were for the qualifying, but I don't think the FP1 was just very ideal for them. But it's okay. It's okay. All in all, what starts well ends well. So
I think they managed with the qualifying.
they did. So as you can see here, we have Lewis finishing on pole. We have Max as P2, Valtteri as P3, Sergio P4, Gasly P5. The Ferraris just ahead of the McLarens, followed by the Alpines, and Vettel rounding up the first 12th. Then you have Yuki, you have the Alfa Romeos, you have the Aston Martin, Lance Stroll, the Williams, and the Hasses as usual. So yeah, all in all, it was a fun qualifying. I don't think there was too much to discuss or talk because of just how normal it felt. But Lewis had a great lap. Max also did, and yeah, the top two. But what followed post the qualifying was what all the drama ensued. Lewis Hamilton did not meet his requirements of 85 centimeters in his rear wing, the DRS opening, and Max just touching it slowly, like whatever he was doing, and that causing issues. That was not a fun night. Like we went to sleep, we woke up in the morning, and we were just all of us. I just remember refreshing to see if there was any clarification from the FIA.
But it didn't come until the sprint, I think.
No, it didn't come even after the FP2 got done, and we were just about to start the sprint, and that's where they disqualified Lewis Hamilton, put him at the back of the grid. A lot of confusion also about what was going to happen.
It was very confusing,
and it was not very clearly stated. But the F1 YouTube channel did a great job putting out a video which explained everything really nicely, saying that he was disqualified from qualification because of a faulty car part. So that was P20, and he would start at the back of the grid for his sprint, and that gave Verstappen a great shot at stealing pole position, and he became P1. But as we will see from the classification of the sprint qualifying, that didn't end well, because as soon as Bottas and Verstappen went into turn 1, Bottas just went away with it.
Yeah. I think Bottas had a really good drive.
He did have a good weekend, I felt. He had a very strong weekend. And he was on the soft tires. He was one of those people gambling on the soft tires. He and the Ferraris. The Ferraris also were on soft tires. They were also gambling with them. They thought they could make the soft tires last all 24 laps, whereas Red Bull just waited with the medium tires, thinking the soft would just fall off the cliff eventually towards the 20th lap, 21st lap, 24th lap, and they could take over. But no, there was no overtaking at all. Valtteri's, it was much cooler. Like what we were discussing, and the weather was much cooler, so that definitely track temperature being a little on the lower side did help the soft tires get more longevity, I thought.
I was actually expecting more of soft in the race as well.
Yeah, but I don't think most of the guys did end up using.
A few 2-3 laps people used it. Otherwise they did.
Yeah, very few. But yeah, McLaren had a very poor day.
And then Perez.
Yeah, Perez did. Yes. Perez did use it to get his fastest lap off Lewis. Yeah. But he had a good time. He had a good gap from Charles that he could manage to take a pit stop and still end up at P4. So that was not a big risk. And of course, Red Bull were going to try to do everything to take points off Mercedes and Lewis, because the Constructors' Championship is also very, very, very close.
Yes.
So yeah. So coming back to our Ferrari versus McLaren conversation, just McLaren has lost its
clearly Ferrari now.
It is clearly Ferrari. They've taken a good lead. They have stronger cars. They have both drivers doing really well. Lando was shockingly poor, but then he came back and had a good race. Whereas Daniel was also in the points. He got into the first pit stop quite late. Got a set of hard tires. Thought he could make it last till the end of the race. Whereas the Ferraris were on medium and they would have to make a pit stop. But his engine problem. His engine didn't help him out, and he was in a point scoring. He was going to score some points, but then that just vanished like this.
End was pretty much like very random. Like
it was very abrupt.
Yeah, it was very abrupt. No one knew until like after 2-3 laps what happened.
Correct. So yeah, so that was not very fun. Uh, but I really see things changing around. I don't know, it's just my optimism or just I want McLaren to do well and I want Daniel and Lando to do well. I see them being actually very good at in Qatar because the straights are really nice. They're really long and
Yeah,
they have three different straights where and we've seen them in Monza, in Silverstone where there are longer
yeah.
straights. They've actually got done really well. Not just them, all the Mercedes power units are doing
I
really well on
think
straights.
I think we'll see that in Qatar because Qatar has a lot of straights.
Yeah, that's true actually.
So let's hope
Let's
they
hope.
do
Yeah,
good.
let's hope.
Like I
So
would really want them to be the third in the championship.
yeah, a lot. I'm sure they would also like it. There's a lot of money there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
money there. Yeah. So coming back to our race and the final race on Sunday, Lewis getting a 5 grid penalty drop from P5 to P10,
P10.
but just just reigning supreme, Lewis Hamilton, and finishing at P1. Verstappen close enough to P2. This was nowhere near the old Ham were bought, but it ends up with that, but it is nowhere
Yeah.
close. The
But I
excitement
think
and was just fantastic for
this
this
was
race.
one that people didn't mind having because it wasn't like a very boring race leading up
Not
to
at all.
Hamburg.
Not at
It
all.
was something which had enough overtakes, which had enough drama,
There was
and
65
then
overtakes
leading up to
on the
Hamburg.
race. 65
Yeah,
overtakes.
yeah,
This is a
and
good numbers.
it was not something that like last race. I remember Mexico. A lot of people told me that they fell asleep during the race.
Oh wow.
But this race, people actually saw the
Yeah,
whole
they did.
race.
They did. They did. It was
Yeah,
actually fun. And yeah, so this race was fine. So the safety car came out pretty early in the first couple of laps.
yeah.
Lando
There were
and
two virtual safety cars
Carlos,
also.
yes, Carlos and Lando had a run into each other going into turn two, and that ended
There were
up
memes
turning
about
that
this as well
there are memes about everything on the internet. Uh,
because Drive to Survive, of course, has made them look like
has hyped them to be the enemies. So yeah,
yeah,
of course. So yeah, so they got pretty close. Norris got off track and he almost lost control of the car, but he did recover pretty well. Went into the pits,
hmm,
got a new set of hard tires, and he was going to last. And he it could have lasted him till the end of the race. He did.
yeah,
He did not pit after that again. Uh, Most of the other drivers also. Somebody who I thought had a very underratedly nice race was Kimi. Kimi started from the pit lane, had some really good overtakes, which we didn't see much of, and he did end up at P12, which is 8 spots
yeah,
higher than where he started, which is actually a pretty nice drive if you go to see. And I really liked Alpine's strategy to this race, unlike the last race where they tried undercutting the teams. Uh,
hmm,
they did try and get ahead of Gasly towards the end. There was first it started with Alonso giving Ocon some DRS and just trying to see if they could overtake Gasly. And then
yeah,
when he couldn't do it, they flipped it around to see if Alonso could get ahead of Gasly. But that also didn't work. And then they just switched it back to Ocon being P8 in the end. So I really liked how hard they were trying. But clearly the Honda power
the
was at a
DRS.
better this thing.
Yeah, the DRS just reminded me of Perez asking Red Bull to tell Verstappen to give him DRS for Hamilton, which I mean everyone knows at this point he's not getting it.
Yeah, but it won't benefit Max at all because Max will have to slow down and lose
Yeah,
his chance.
exactly.
So I
Yeah,
don't think uh, Max was ever going to do that. So
exactly. And
yeah,
the fact that he was asking just was very funny because he knows that Red Bull's not gonna let Max slow down at the cost of
yeah.
Hamilton.
But if they are looking at the championship constructors also, but I don't think that is at a higher priority. The drivers is at a higher priority at this point. So yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, Looking at the rest of them, Gasly had a very solid start. He had some couple of good overtakes with the McLarens. He especially was saying in the pit lane interviews later that how much fun it was to go against a two-time world champion in Fernando Alonso. So he was very
yeah,
happy with that. He said it was his childhood dream, and it was just very sweet of that. and the Ferraris were really strong. And Charles was almost 25-30 seconds slower than Perez to complete the race, but it still seemed like a very solid effort from Leclerc and Sainz.
Yeah. And even for Schumacher and the Raikkonen accident,
Oh yes,
that was
Kimi did tell him he would slow down so that Schumacher could race him. So he did keep
yeah.
his words. He did keep his
And
words.
then the race ended up in him losing his front wing.
Yep, that was a very sad incident, and yeah, strong weekend overall. Talking about Alpha Romeo, uh, uh, there is a very strong rumors that Zhao will be the first Chinese racer to join them next year, and we should hear something about it in the next week. So hopefully, and that's going to be sad for our Italian Jesus, but yeah, we'll have a new racer next year. Is he the only new racer? Is he going to be the only rookie on that grid next year?
Yeah, I mean, Albon is someone who's already raced, so
yeah, Albon's on the rookie. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty.
And rest are the same who are already on the grid.
Yep. So he will be the only rookie. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch some of them.
Definitely. We have this. We have a chart that shows the pit stops. What pit stops did take place? We have Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Perez, Leclerc, all going in and taking some really nice stints on the mediums, and the hards actually being pretty good also.
Norris's first pit stop being so early actually risked him a little bit.
It did. It actually did.
Like
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
If his pit stop was a little later, then he would have had the speed and he would have been able to, I think, finish at least a little higher than where he was.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, but I have started noticing a pattern with the Alpine cars. They have generally been really good at tire preservation. Like if you see Ocon also, he did manage to make a one-stop strategy work a couple of races back. Here they've gone on a hard tire and they've managed to just get one pit stop. And the pit stops do take a while now. They're not as fluent as they were before. So
it just slows down their pace.
Yeah. So actually pretty cool on Alpine's part to make it work with a one single stop. So yeah, as you see, Ricardo only getting one pit stop at the 30th lap and then just falling off a cliff on his hard tires. He could have made that. He could have made those hard tires work to the end of the race.
I think he would have managed with one pit stop as well.
Definitely. He would be somebody who would be looking at P7, P8, and he could have got a good haul of points for McLaren. So where do we stand at the end of this race? There is still a 14-point lead for Max. But Lewis is not that far off. It's one race. One DNF out of 3 again.
I mean, I feel Max won't at any cost let that DNF happen now.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not in your hands.
And if it happens, he'll drag him along. He'll drag Lewis along. Or
if they will force one of the 3 Red Bull cars.
Or Red Bull will have Perez drag him out. So even if
not just Perez, there is Gasly and there is Yuki.
Yeah, exactly. So they have like a whole chain reaction. So I feel that Hamilton, knowing this, wouldn't try to even remove Max out of the race.
No, I don't think Hamilton will ever do that. And I don't think Hamilton has ever done that. But I don't think so. So but I think it's going to be very, very
both.
Yeah, but it's going to be very, very close. But I still think Max has it. Because 14 points is not small. It is actually a good lead.
And actually, I feel towards the end of the race, I really thought that Max would, there was one more overtake that Max could have taken and become P1 again. I really thought he would manage that and the gap
No,
would still be a
it
little.
was very obvious the speed difference
It
Mercedes
was
had.
obvious.
It was very,
I
it
know,
would be
but
very stupid
I
on
just
Max's
had
part
that
to go
hope.
for that and lose out on his points also.
I just had that hope for him. Like, he
Yeah,
just
Max.
deserves it.
Yeah, but it's okay. Time will come.
Yeah. And
There's
this
a very
is
interesting. No, just we can come back to that. There is a very interesting battle building up for P5 where Carlos Carlos and actually Leclerc have come back from behind
yeah.
to maybe overtake Lando. And Lando's had a couple of very
I
awful
think
races
that is
in terms of
manageable.
points.
Like, at least Charles would go ahead Lando.
Yeah, I have a feeling of that. That is very possible because the McLaren
Yeah.
has not doing great, but we're hoping in the law in these straight tracks in the Middle East, it would actually do
Yeah.
better. So let's hope for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
going on to our next slide. This is a very visual representation of how the drivers have been progressing through the races. We're at race 19 now. You can just see. We'll start first with looking at Max and Lewis. They've been generally very neck to neck. Like it's a very interesting comparison if we look at it like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, they've had some really good battles, and they've had some really good. You can see the big gap at race 9 that is just because of Silverstone, and then again they get closer and closer and closer, and there's not been a clear advantage of somebody who's run
No,
away.
that
with it.
isn't Silverstone.
Oh, sorry, that isn't Silverstone.
No.
No, that is that the whole that part is the Austrian and Zanzibar because Max is leading there, obviously, so it can't be Silverstone.
Yeah.
Yes, Silverstone
Yeah.
is I think the 4th race where Lewis goes ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If we come back to this thing, you can just see Lando. He just falls off a cliff, it seems like. After 15, 16, 17, it's just a very straight, and it doesn't look very good for McLaren. There's a nice bump for Daniel from 13 to 14 in Monza.
Yeah. Monza.
So yeah, it has been a very interesting chart. Lewis and Max have been very close, and this has been the best title race in a number of years. So this chart exactly represents that. So
Yeah.
moving on, where do the teams stand at the end of this? How does the constructors championship?
There is still
look?
like a good 11 points gap between Mercedes and Red Bull. I think they wouldn't need long to cover that up.
Yeah, not really. From 1 they've made it 10.
Yeah.
The most worrying part about me is the gap Ferrari have built from McLaren, and 31 points. Yeah. 31 points is a little too much. So I don't know how McLaren are coming back.
Moving ahead, I feel it will keep increasing because Ferrari is actually doing good.
They are doing really good. Their engine looks far superior.
Yeah.
They're doing really good, but one battle that is very entertaining is the Alpine after Tauri battle.
The Red Bull Mercedes gap will start filling up next time.
Yeah, but the Ferrari will just get a better lead.
Yeah.
I can see that too.
Alpine and AlphaTauri again, it's the same points.
Yeah, so Gasly did manage to get 3 points.
Yeah.
No, Gasly got 4, I think, and no, the Gasly finished what? P8, P7. Gasly was P7.
P7.
So he got the same number of points as Ocon and Alonso got. So they end up at the same point. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very interesting. There is a lot of money also at stake at that championship. Whoever finishes P5 does get a better haul of money, and that could turn up to be very important next year. So, so folks, we have some really interesting stats from you we pulled out, and this is like the fun trivia facts we do, but we've just got them in terms of stats this week for y'all. So going ahead, we'll just have a look at this. This is the team points.
This is the team points again.
How we had the racers doing individually. This is the team points. There also you can see how close Mercedes and Red Bull have been. So take it away. Yeah. No, coming back to that, I just wanted to talk about McLaren as well. McLaren and Ferrari. You can see how close they've got, and then just McLaren flatlining towards the end. Similarly, you can also see
Alpine and intertwining among.
Yeah, they have, but this is the only time the gap has looked that far off, and it doesn't look very positive right now. If I was McLaren. Yeah, coming to the next one. This is a very, very interesting stat, I thought. This is one of the only races where Mazepin has managed to beat Mick. And a lot of times Mick has DNF'd twice. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
just see the number of times the Haas driver is ahead somebody, uh, which is actually a very cool stat if you look at it that way. And yeah, they have managed to out finish Lewis Hamilton when Lewis has DNF'd.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool. Like you can see how stronger Mick is from Nikita also at this point, which just shows you how often Mick has beaten him. Yeah, coming back to our next slide.
Yes.
Championship points.
I really like this. I really like this.
Yes, I'm going to minimize our faces. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead. You were saying Mihika.
Yeah. So I really like this, and it's just good to see that Max has like 5 scenarios and Lewis
Yes.
only has 1.
Yeah, but that is what a good lead is going to do to you. It looks like a
Yeah.
small lead, but we tend to forget that there are only 3 races. So the lead does look smaller, but in the comparison for 3 races, it's a big lead.
I highly doubt Lewis will get all 3 wins.
Yeah, I also do, but I for some reason they are very powerful, and I do see them finishing with at least 2.
Yeah, they might with 2, but not all 3.
Yeah, we can't say anything about Qatar or Saudi Arabia, Jeddah right now because nobody has raced there, so we don't know anything there. So yeah, this is all about
I feel
speculation.
Qatar for sure will be Lewis
Yeah.
because of the straights and stuff like that. But Saudi, I'm not sure.
Saudi has a lot of high-speed corners, but they're not very round. If I don't know if you all are following the F1 YouTube page, they've just put out a video 25-30 minutes back where there is a virtual car which is going through the virtual Saudi Arabia track. And if you see, there are not a lot of big turns that help Red Bull. There are very fast corners, but they aren't the corners; they're just turns. So
Right.
So I think that also might be an advantage to Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, it just, I feel that Max has a higher probability. So I'm just going to say that it's going to be Max for sure.
Definitely. We'll discuss about our friendly wager after the end of this episode.
Yes.
Or it could not be very friendly. It could be about some nice money. So this is also a very cool stat. This is if the Silverstone crash happened and did not happen. If you just see, if it did not happen, the lead that Max has would have almost skyrocketed. Would have been much higher, and I think this would have sealed his. This would have sealed his spot. He would have almost got the championship if he won any. Even he finished P2 on any of the races, he would have definitely won the championship. So that was a big blow to Max's chances. Even if he didn't manage to get P2 at the end of the race, he would have he could have secured his title by this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Coming back to our favorite part of the episode where we will discuss our driver ratings for all the drivers. We're going to do it a little differently this time. We will start from the bottom down and we will take the whole weekend into consideration, not just the race. So yeah, let's start. Let's go. Lance Stroll.
Very average weekend, so 3.54.
Yeah, 3.54. Daniel did have a very mediocre qualifying and a sprint, but he was actually doing well for the pace McLaren had, which was not enough pace. So a 4 or a 5, I think a 5 would suffice for me.
Yeah, exactly. 4.55.
Yeah. Mick,
I mean,
there was not much happening. There was not like much they could do. So I think Mick, Mazepin and Latifi would be a 5.
4.55.
Yeah, 4.55. Yuki crashed into Stroll, which he kept saying was Stroll not looking in his back mirrors and just went with it. Didn't have a really strong qualifying or a sprint. So I would say a 5 as well. Gio?
Yeah. 4.5.
Yeah, very mediocre race as well. 4.55.
Yeah, I think lower than Kimi, all of them are 4.5.
No, I think George did do well to out qualify
Okay, yeah, he did do
to
like
to
I
an
think
alpha.
after George.
So I would say
After George.
George would be a 6. I would say it would be a strong 6
Yeah,
or a 7. With
5.5.
just 5.56 on the car he has, I don't think he can do
Yeah.
better. So yeah, Kimi.
Kimi was a 7.58.
Kimi was a 7.5. I would definitely say so as
Yeah.
well. Very good start. They
But
wanted to change some. They wanted to change a few parts in his car. They started from the pit lane.
Yeah.
And I think 7.5 is.
And I
is
mean,
good.
it's his coming last 3 races of F1
Yeah,
in
it's
general.
gonna be hurtful. It's gonna hurt a lot. Yeah.
Vettel.
Seb had a very. I don't actually know how well Seb did that. That he went pretty under the radar.
We
in
didn't
sprint.
see much.
Yeah, we didn't see much of Seb at all.
Yeah, but he's dropped 2 positions, so I'm gonna assume and say 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. But I don't think the Aston Martin looks as good as it did even like 5 or 6 races ago. It's just been falling off a cliff and something's
Yeah.
really not clicking well with the car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 6. Lando.
He had a good sprint.
He had a good sprint. He had a really good. He got off really well from the start of the first lap in the race, but then
I think it was the crash accident with Carlos that made him go behind.
Yeah.
And
but I think that is partly his fault also. So
yeah,
6.5, 7, I think is what should suffice.
Yeah, it makes sense. 6.5, 7.
Yeah. Then you have Alonso and Ocon. I think both of them had solid races. Both of them did really well. A 7.5, 8 is I think good for them, considering they're in an Alpine and. Gasly. Gasly. He did really well now that you think about it.
He did good in sprint also.
He did well in sprint also. So 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 is pretty cool. Carlos and Charles were really good. I would deduct half a mark from Carlos for that incident at lap 1. So a 7 for Carlos and an 8 for Charles. Both of them had pretty strong.
I think it seems good.
Yeah, both of them had pretty strong weeks as well.
Perez
8. No, an 8. I think he could have done better to get past Bottas, which he himself is very annoyed with.
He managed to get the fastest lap also.
Yeah, but that was on a soft. Yuki also has done that before, just in a soft tire, getting fastest lap.
That is true.
So yeah, I would not give him a bonus point for that. Yeah, I would not give him a bonus point for that.
Yeah, so 8.
Yeah. 8. Valtteri.
What?
I think it's a 9 just because of how good he was on sprint. He qualified P3, took P1 in the sprint and finished at P3. That too after the Lewis overtook Perez. He just moved away and let Lewis fight without holding him up, and I think that was great teamwork from them as well. So 8.5, 9. Verstappen also would be a 9 for me because he did all he could in that car. I don't think there was much from him that he could do in the car.
He tried his best.
Yeah, but Mercedes was just a quicker car. So, and Lewis was a beast who had just been woken up. So Lewis. That's a 10.
I think
that's a solid 10. That is a solid 10 if we ever had one.
He had a really good weekend. I think not really good as such. He had a lot of ups and downs, but
it was his favorite weekend he can remember for the longest time, he said. So that is a definite 10 from us for Lewis.
Yeah.
So that's it, folks. We are knackered. We need some rest and sleep, clearly, as you can see. We'll be back next week, same time, reviewing the reviewing the Qatar Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's the last of the triple header.
The last of the triple headers. And it's going to be a really close fight, so watch out. Also, you can also follow us on Instagram and on Twitter and on
YouTube. Subscribe.
And please subscribe and like, comment. And we have a lot of reels and we have a lot of informative things that we do put up during the week on Instagram. So do follow us there, and it's F1GridView out there as well. So thank you so much, and bye bye. Bye, Mihika.
Bye.
Bye bye.